Whew, okay, I'm relieved. Okay, so in the beginning, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna see this woman carry on as normal. All right. In the beginning, she will essentially still have the same qualms that she's had all along. If at all Tepang is not picking up his weight, she's going to raise it. If at all Tepang, upon raising it, he does not respond appropriately, she's going to threaten to leave. If at all he still does not get his act together, she then is actually going to leave. And that's exactly what happened with Tepang and Boitumelo. The chick left again, right? On and off relationship. She left again. Yeah, but this time around, she was held hostage by comeback, by Begamina Pela, by no one else out there in the wilderness is going to treat you better than me. Basically just a slew, a plethora, a cocktail of witchcraft in operation that will have set Boitumelo up for failure in every facet. Upon trying to find another man that's gonna love her, he would then inevitably treat her like trash. And also, her own emotions would betray her, in the sense that even though she knows she needs to be gone, in an inordinate fashion, because that missing of him is demonically inspired. It's otherworldly. It's not of this plane. So therefore, it'll be feverish. It'll be poignant, strong, deep, in a way that Boitumelo will not have recognized it before. She will literally miss him in a way that she's never missed him before, like painfully. Something. I'm speaking from my own experience here. Okay, the pain that is felt when you are not with him, when there is witchcraft in operation. How can I describe it? The pain of a broken up relationship where you still miss the person in question, where you're still in love with them, is like a slow killing cancer. It metastasizes over time. It gets worse horribly before it gets better. That is how a broken up relationship that is normal, going through the pains of a breakup, feels. But the abnormal one is sharp, like having somebody cut your leg off without anesthetic. The pain is not something that you can overcome with morphine. That pain is not something that you can overcome with an over-counter analgesic. That's not something that you can overcome even with prescription medication. It is a lingering dystopian pain that is murderous, that nothing works on. A person that is dying from cancer is indeed in pain, but their pain can be stilled by meds. The pain of that kind of breakup is not like the pain of a metastasizing cancer that can go away with some meds. It's like we are sahwa, with no anesthetic, with nobody coming for you, with nobody stopping the bleeding. You will feel like death warmed up. You will feel like death warmed up. I am not even kidding. It is raw, it is unadulterated, it is without medication, and it is yearning and screaming for the apparent only solution to this crisis in your body, the thing that is the reconnection of your lost limb to wholeness again, will literally be recommended or suggested as your boyfriend. Nothing works. No ice cream, no canoeing, no jogging around the block, 10 kilometers, whatever historically you have used as a means to cope with something that's hurting you in life. This time it's not going to work. You can't write enough poetry. You can't sing enough songs. You can't listen to enough music. You can't do your favorite things, your best hobbies sufficiently. You can't read your favorite book enough times. This thing will call you, pull you. Kariwashing. It'll yank you. It'll yank your spirit such that you will be literally inconsolable, like somebody passed away. That kind of spiritual manipulation, guys. That kind of spiritual manipulation. When a man is going to make you feeling that just because you broke up. You never felt this way before. You were able to get through it with ice cream before. You could pine, but you were generally able to do your job. You could, like I said, there are things that people tend to default to. Maybe even just a binge, an alcohol binging spree. Like drinking yourself over a 24 period, listening to some R&B music. And it actually works to cause you to like purge that thing out of your system. And then after 2 or 3 days, you're cool again. You can see how tomorrow is a feasible day to enjoy. This here is a pain engahambi, guys. It yearns, it lingers, it lurks. It lurks, and it does not only lurk, but it also tells you what's the only solution. So you will feel a strong pulling and a yearning to go back to a situation that you knew you had to leave. The very boyfriend that you had to dump. You will suddenly feel that strongly about getting back together with him. And it doesn't only end there. it doesn't only end there. This person thinks he's a little mini god, okay? Thoroughly manipulating ecosystemic factors contributing to that pain into your space. He will make every guy not like you anymore. You'll have a colleague guy that you were flirting with, but you were not too serious with him because you've got a boyfriend. This guy will suddenly walk right past you in the office and you'll be like, "Hi, Jabu." And you'll be like, "Oh, sorry, didn't see you there." All of a sudden, the guy's banabach shella. I'm not gonna shella you. If at all you are a pretty girl and when you walk around in these streets, people tend to look at you. They won't look at you. How to shella like construction workers. How about when you're walking by? Hello, nice, not even that. You will have a cold environment where you will start to feel ugly overnight. He will, like this witchcraft operates to essentially it's like whatever is sitting on you is a repellent. You are an insecticide, a pesticide. And men around you are like dinsinsi. They will strangely not be drawn to you anymore. You will still be perfectly viable, wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous, and yet, and if you do happen to date anyway, if there's somebody that this witchcraft eludes and they end up taking you on a date, it'll go so badly, it'll go so awry, it'll be so horrible. This person will so pale in comparison to your boyfriend, your ex, the one that you dumped, that you will literally be made to go back running. You will be made to go back running because not only did guys stop shellaring me, not only did guys that used to stare at me stop staring at me, not only did the dude in the office that I was flirting with stop even greeting me, not only did my next door neighbor that's always out there trying to help me in any way because wang patla, not only did he stop doing that, but also the one date I went on after my breakup with my ex-boyfriend was so horrible. This guy was so mean, he was so rude, he was always looking at his phone, he was always talking about himself, it'll be horrible. And this dude will also actively treat you in ways so as to make you feel unpretty or unspecial. This new guy, he will treat you horribly. Every new man that you're with is gonna act a fool, coupled with your shallow dating pool now, in that there will be fewer men looking at you. Fewer. And the only ones that do, that finally take you on a date, will mess up so badly that you will end up doing nothing but miss this animal. So first and foremost, you have got pain that is like a chainsaw on your leg with no anesthetic. It's not a gentle, tranquil pain that over time heals, and meds can help, like any other breakup, because it's not natural, it is spiritual. And demons are the ones. But if you decide to strive anyway past 1 month, 2 months, 3 months broken up, if you decide to ride it out and tell yourself you're going to find another man in the future, the thing that will make you inevitably go back to your ex is how badly your experiences are now at the hands of other men. You will either stop getting shelled, or once you go on a date, or arrogant, just some aggrandizing, self-consumed, conceited animal that you're busy sitting opposite at dinner, that can't stop talking about all of his achievements, and you will miss that Oki that could do nothing but listen to all of your long stories, your tall tales about your upbringing, and continue to ask, and then every time you spoke, the way that he was just so attentive. You will miss all that about your ex-boyfriend Tsepang. All the good things about him will suddenly start to be more glaring, while all of his flaws will start to fade. That is spiritual manipulation. I had that happen with me. I had that happen with me. My ex hold me down, don't go, don't leave. I left anyway. I was back within, it was never longer than 2 weeks. There was a guy that had wanted me pretty much since the learnership at Liberty Life that I had. He was in my group, Megane Gwababa, at the time when we were in the learnership. But as years progressed, he manned up, he got stronger, he felt less scared. And so he was always just emailing. Like we stayed in touch, all of us as the alumni under the group, the Liberty Life learnership. And in the group chat, what do you call this? I would reply he'd literally search for my name. Like the person that would make a decision to send an email to all of the former learners from Liberty Life. He would scan the email address, the people in the email to find me, and then he would click and then send me an email privately. He did this for years after the learnership program ended, because we stayed in touch, all of us, more or less, right? We still stayed in touch, continued to group chat and whatnot, and he tried so hard to get me to go on a date with him. I don't know why he didn't ask me out at the time. We were in the learnership program. I wouldn't have said yes, that's why. I wouldn't have dated him because he had dreadlocks at the time and I didn't like dreads on a man, coupled with the fact that I would never have dated anybody in the program. It would be like dating a guy in the school. It was just too close for comfort for me. So back then it didn't make sense, but then over time anyway, whatever. He was 2 years older than me, and this dude kept trying over the years, but I was with my ex and I was in love. In the beginning, I could never leave my ex for anything because he was the one. I just felt like this is it. I was in love. So all of his attempts initially, I was like, hi. And then one day, those emails, as they were flying around yet again, send me an email privately. Hey, Karabo, how you doing? What's good? What's down? I respond. I'd always respond. I was never rude, right? I was never rude type setup thing. But this time around, he asked me for my Facebook, and I gave him my link, my handle, whatnot. He then befriended me on Facebook, and then I clicked on his content, or not the content, as I speak, in modern terms. I clicked on his page, his Facebook page, just to check out what's going on with him. How's life, coupled with the fact that my boyfriend, I had told myself for another guy, and this guy was busy asking me out. I remember that he was actually kind of cute, his dreadlocks. I click on his profile. I discovered that he has ever since then shaved his dreadlocks, and he's looking, you remember from that damn Dala, after he got rid of his dreads, that's when you start to see a man's beauty, yo. That's when you start to see a man's handsomeness. Anyway, this dude he came out like a flower, just blossomed. He was so handsome. I was like, whoa, he looks so good without his hair on. And at that stage, I was on rocky ground with this Okie, this boyfriend of mine, and I was like, he's playing games. This guy's wanted me since I don't know when. Maybe, just maybe, but whatever. We were just chatting, and then we break up. Because again, I'm sick and tired of this relationship. I keep on working on it, striving. Lomuntu's not getting his act together. We break up because we were on and off, just like we do Melo and Tepang. We were on and off. We break up, and this time around during the breakup, I decided to give dude a chance. I decided to give this Okie from Liberty Life a chance. Right, I decided to let him take me on a. First of all, I let him come and meet me. I don't know what in the world was good. What happened? He came to my work where I worked to drop something off. He wanted to see me during lunch, and I agreed. Right, and it was the first time I was seeing him now in like years. First time I saw him since the learnership, and he had cut off his hair and he was looking really good. He was just really handsome. He looked, probably still does to this day, that wouldn't change, like Denzel Washington. Like that's what that guy looked like. Okay, he totally looks like Denzel. I am not even lying. Even still to this day when I see Denzel, I'm like, dude, you remind me of dude. Okay, like yeah, he looks exactly like Denzel Washington, but like the young version. Okay, so here's this Denzel Washington all up in my grill. My ex was also quite handsome. So this was not just about cute and looks, but it was about the fact that I was not happy in my relationship, and this guy was dragging me along, wasting my time, wreaking all this havoc, and I was happy to give somebody else a chance, especially considering even Dota has worked this hard for all these years to get me. Let's not gonna play games. If at all he's been trying, because like he'd send me emails, and I would give him one-word answers or not be sufficiently sincere or keep telling him, I've got a boyfriend, wada. If a dude has been trying for that long, he's not gonna play games. So I wanted to give him a chance because he was over and above not playing games, quite handsome. Okay, yeah, so here it is that I meet him. He comes to my offices to drop something off. I see him for the first time in years, and I'm like, whoa, he's looking so good. Anyway, okay, bye, whatnot. And after we stayed friends on Facebook. Alright, we were friends on Facebook, and he was basically following my relationship and the timeline therein. This dude used to remember everything. Like I would mention the smallest little random details in these streets, and then like 3 months later, he would raise it again, and I'd be like, whoa, you were listening. So he was very attentive. Essentially, he really made me consider, what am I doing with this guy? Because he's wasting my time. And that dude remembers basically like small stuff, like even he used to remember my mom's birthday. He would remember my little sister's birthday. Like I would have told him like the previous year in February that, oh, it's my little sister's birthday, I'm thinking of getting her this. And then the next year, he would send me an inbox on Twitter or on Facebook and be like, hey, say happy birthday to your baby sister. A whole year later, like he just remembered stuff like that. And like I said, that's how long that guy was all up and trying to get with me. So stuff like that, now for me was like, what am I doing with my boyfriend? Because this Okie remembered my little sister's birthday, he remembered my mom's birthday. When I just merely mentioned stuff like that in passing, he banked it in his mind. That's how attentive of me he is. If he can remember my mom's and my sister's birthday, how much more will you remember everything I need remembered about me, you know? Anyway, it took years of this guy basically really trying to get with me, that ultimately made me seriously consider being with him, because my ex was dropping the ball. Habohloko. We break up, my ex and I break up. And during this time of being broken up, this guy was like, he was following me and my whole life on Facebook. He reached out at around the same time. And then I was like, okay, well, let's go have, it wasn't even, okay, let's go have lunch. It was, come, utlila cheka, right? Where is that I lived? Like, yeah, I stayed in a unit down the same complex, different unit. We've lived here twice before in the same complex. In between, there's another place where we stayed. Yeah. Came as cheka, this guy. He came to come and check me, right? Check me. Check. And it's like proper no other word that I can replace it with in black culture, black South African culture. Y'all know what it means. Check. I really can't tell you what it means in other cultures. It's like when a man that is just a prospective boyfriend or a boyfriend comes to see his girl. That's cheka. You don't just check a friend. You check a woman. And like, yo, anyway. I don't know, you gotta be South African to get it. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help. Mega zila zongcheka, that guy, right? And during that small little time, okay, I gave like I told you guys that I struggled to stay out of a relationship. So my ex was pulling all these stunts. Within something like 30 days of our breakup, I allowed myself to be checked out by this dude. It was the first time that I gave him any kind of opportunity, like a small little shot to be with me, okay? Give him the directions to my mom's house. I stayed at home still. He drives to me where I'm at. I see him. I remember we were sitting in his car outside of my mom's house parked, guys, and my feelings, like I got such strong feelings for this guy. The first day that he rocked up to come and check on me, the first day that basically I was giving him a chance on some speak for yourself, what you gotta say, brother, what you gotta say. I'm talking, I'm here. Swagataba, right? The first, like, just seeing him, okay, I already thought he was cute when I saw him outside, when he came to my work to drop something off. It had at that stage now been another year and a half passing. So this guy's been trying all this time, and he had since then gotten even better. He'd grown even more mature. He'd become even more handsome. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, yeah, he rocks up after work, okay, and he's chilling there in his work attire, and I'm just like, just looking at this dude, and I'm like, whoa, yes, like it, man, this could be it. Like, this could be it. Like, I can't really say that I fell in love, but I got such very strong feelings for him. So here it is that I was sitting in front of this dude, and I'm like, okay, so all this time, like, he's actually quite good looking, and he's good peoples. He's really good peoples, and he really likes me, and this dude is not going to give me problems. He's not going to cheat. He was trying to be with me for years. Do you understand? And he was now right in front of me. And I developed these very strong feelings for him from that first day when he came to come check on me. And well, the guy just kept coming every single day thereafter, right? It was the first day, went home after a couple of hours of us hanging out in his car. The next day, went home, and like the whole week, and I am falling for somebody else in this season. I'm out here falling for somebody else in this season. Our conversations are lit. Everything is just lit, okay? We are seeing each other every day. He's such a blessing. He's calling me all day, every day. He's emailing me all the attention that a woman could ever desire from a man that is out here fraternizing with her. He's like, yeah, he's doing all that. Coupled with the fact that he was all through and through provider. He was just everything that my ex wasn't. I'm sorry. Like, he was everything. He was catering to everything of mine. Yeah, you get my point. Yeah, okay, I hang out with this guy right after like 2 weeks of check-ons. After like 2 weeks of between this guy and we used to meet anywhere that we could. One time we met at like the spa, a type establishment thing, and just sat there for like until the spa closed. And with the spa being closed, sakoshwa from chilling there at the spa. I don't know why we didn't go to Jakarta High. We could have done that, right? Type thing. Anyway, I was hanging out a whole bunch with this dude, and I was falling for him, and to a point where I'm not making to this guy. Look at my ex, yo. Like, I was gone. I was out here falling head over heels for somebody else, and I didn't care that Lomuntu was gonna feel some kind of way about it. Anyway, after about 2 weeks of hanging out every single day, I go to this guy's apartment. He had a roommate. He stayed with a friend of his, not far from, he stayed in like Mukhade City. I stay in already Port Vilgehevel, so that is really not far. It's like the same neighborhood, just opposite sides of town. That's where he stayed. This Okima Bobby, I go and I vagashela him there, and we hang out like pretty much the whole night. That's the way that people in the world are, right? We didn't fornicate. I wouldn't have had sex with him. I wouldn't have. It was too early. It was too soon. I had just been with my ex like 2 weeks ago. So, however, we did sleep in the same bed, making out and all that jazz. And guys, it was that night. You see, it was me spending the night at this guy's apartment. It was me spending the night with a new guy that changed me. The next morning, something flipped. Something flipped. It's almost as if though the witchcraft that my ex did was on some whatever. Ungajola as much as you want. But the moment things get to a point where you are literally that cozying up, like you're basically bordering on having sex, you're starting something that's gonna linger into the future. That's when Guzo Moshega. And Nganshencha, guys, I go and I spend the night at this guy's apartment, right? Worldly stuff being done. We did not fornicate though, right? And the next morning, I was determined to go back to my ex. I'd been with this guy for 2 weeks, fraternizing, all that jazz. I sleep at his apartment. Next morning, something flips in the sky. I was happy the whole time. I was content the whole time. There was nothing out of whack the entire time. This dude was confiding in me about his life's biggest issues and secrets, and I was talking to him about my biggest issues and secrets. We were about to go into the sunset. My ex was never going to see me again. That was it. And the next morning, I wake up and next thing, this Oki, I'm looking at him. There's nothing wrong with this guy. Nothing. He excels above my ex by 10 million kilometers. I remember even telling my cousin about this guy, and my cousin was like, yo girl, this dude is gonna give your ex a run for his money. Because from what you tell me, your ex it does not even compare. Not even gangani. I was like, my point exactly. Yeah, but I was back with my boyfriend. I was back. We were staying. I had moved out of our apartment and moved back home, and the lease was ending. And it was the end of the month, and he was gonna stay there he was staying there the entire time, but he would have also had to move out because we were breaking up because he was messing up. However, we were living together, cohabiting, but I moved back home for the last month of the stay at that complex, at that unit, the very one that I showed you earlier. So we had broken up at that level to a point where even the lease that we had signed together to live at was cancelled. It was that over. We had told the landlord we were to move furniture and everything. It was that over. And in the time when I was staying at my mom's house, during that 2 weeks when he was checking me, that Oki, I was starting a new relationship. Maybe it was a rebound, I don't know. It couldn't have been. But anyway, whatever. I'm out here now suddenly thinking that I need to go back to a man that I left for good reason, to a point where we cancelled the lease where we were staying together. Cancelled the lease. When you have that kind of a breakup, guys, why are you going back? Why are you even thinking about going back to a dude? I out here, having spent the night at this Oki's house, came out of that feeling ingati, angwazi mina. I need to go and give my man a chance. He had not done anything to ask for a chance. He didn't beg me. He didn't ask for a chance. He didn't send me a text message the whole time when we were broken up. The whole time when I was living at my mom's and he was staying by himself at the apartment. The whole time, like, Muto did not try to come back. As long as I'm Ubani, who went back? Me. I went back. And the decision that I made to go back was inspired by Indabeguti. I spent the night at another guy's house. Hey guys, the meaty witchcraft, ne? Tell me, what did you do before witchcraft happened? Before you found out? How were your lives? Because right now, the way that you use it for everything, it's like food. It's like food replacement for you, hey? How were you breathing before witchcraft? How were you eating before witchcraft? How were you sitting and standing? How were you sleeping? Because now it looks like, it appears as though you can't do any of those basic human functions without it. How did you get your way before witchcraft? How did you get jobs? Didn't you just go for a basic interview? Didn't you just shell out women before Korobela and they command you? Didn't you just do things the normal way? Y'all don't need this stuff. All you do is just hold people hostage. You incarcerate us. Anyway, this man made me go back to him. He made me go back to him, and I feel so sad. Yeah, see, this other Oki, ne? In that 2 weeks that we were together, and check out the whole time, I had met his friends. That guy was so perfect. Guys, he had older friends. He was only 2 years older than me, and he was thus younger by 2 years than my ex. My ex was older than me by 4 years. That guy was in 1982. My ex was in 1980. I'm in 1984. Despite being younger than my ex, he was so much more mature, and his boys were married. He had friends that were married. His boys were in their 30s. He was the only one among them that was in his 20s, and they were all married. Why would you, as a young woman that wants stability, not stay with a man who in his 20s has got friends in their 30s that are all married? Why would a young woman not want that kind of stability? That dude was rare. He was rare. It's like all the signs were there from the sky, flailing, basically telling me, don't mess this up. You're not gonna find at the time I'm like, what, 24? He's like 25, 6. Where you're not gonna find another 26-year-old guy that has got 35-year-old friends who have got wives, that is that serious with you, that is that serious with himself and his life and his career and his everything, and he's been pursuing you since he was just 22 and you were 20. And now at 26, he finally got you. Now at 26, he finally got a word in. This dude has been pursuing you for 4 years. And then once you finally give him a chance, he gives you all this attention. He has all this working out for himself, coupled with the fact that all his boys are older and married. I went to a braai, the one social event. I think we were only together for 2 weeks. I went to a braai that this man took me to as a girlfriend, and I was hanging out with his boys and their wives. I'd be married by now. So what I'm trying to explain is that dude would probably married me within a year. Within a year. He did not have any influences around him that would have been like, you need to go and sow your royal oats. You need to go in this. All his boys were married. Nobody was going to be out there discouraging him from making a woman a wife. He was just stuff. He was made of different stuff. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. Anyway, whatever. That's how this guy was. He was perfect. Like, what I'm trying to explain is that this guy made up perfect. So for a man to be that perfect for a woman, and for a woman to go back to something so toxic as what it is that I was coming out of, and he came into him, I allowed him to basically fraternize with me during a time when I had just broken, like we had a seriously horrific breakup with my ex, to a point where we had to cancel even the lease in the apartment where we were staying. Why would a woman choose to go back to something so toxic? A woman so smart as I always have been, and a woman so self-preserving as I always have been. Why would I go back to something so ridiculous? That's witchcraft. That's how witchcraft works. That is how witchcraft works. Do you understand what I'm saying? Anyway, so this dude has got these married friends. He's the kid among them. The only one single yet to be married. He's obviously clearly looking for a wife. He's been trying to pursue me for like years on end. And when he finally does get me, all right, he is so attentive. Like I told you, he remembered my family's birthdays type setup thing. How much more than would he remember mine? He thought I was the most beautiful, most exquisite thing under heaven. Like this dude, not Jewish like he just felt so glad that I was happy to accommodate him. All right. He'd already told me he loved me at that stage, but I couldn't tell him back because one, I don't think I already did, and secondly, I was still kind of dealing with issues with my ex. Frankly, I got into this whole thing too quickly with him. Maybe if I had given it time out, but the time would not have lasted. I get nekesahwa. Like amputation with no anesthetic was happening. So there's no way that I could have been single for a certain period of time without wanting to go back to that ex of mine. I even said it to myself one time. I get we were on and off. I knew me and this boyfriend of mine were on and off. I remember one time thinking to myself, after getting back together with him, I remember saying to myself, the only way that I'm going to succeed to leave this guy is if I leave him for another guy. I have to literally immediately get into a relationship with somebody else, because it is that transitory phase, that season of being without him when I'm alone, that I feel cutting into my bone. So I had come to a place of imagining that the best way out of this is through someone else. That's why I gave that guy a shot literally immediately after we broke up, because I thought that was a solution. And even that didn't work. Before, when we would break up, I'd stay single and then I would get sakhad. This time around, having somebody else did work, because I was able to pay my attention on another man. And I really was forgetting about my ex. But as soon as I slept in the same bed with that guy all night, witchcraft, ditlare, zombies in the spirit acted. They were like, "Hey, Suga, this is what we're here for. This is what we're supposed to block. This is what we're supposed to end." Yeah, anyway, whatever. Okay. This Ogie, I told him on the, like, I remember the day when I was leaving his apartment that morning. I had left something and then I went back and then he came out to give, I forgot what I had left, like, akizebi, a phone, a shoe. It was definitely not a phone, but something of mine that I left that I had to go and pick up again. And he was so excited to see me again. Like, yeah, he was just so boyfriendly. But I was detached in a way that was observable by him. Such that the next day, that's when I dumped him. I was with that guy for like 2 weeks. I left him. The next day, I contacted him and I told him, I can't be with you because I haven't resolved my issues with my ex, blah blah, what a fish paste. And on the phone he was like, I was expecting this. Shame, hey? He was like, I was expecting this. I saw this coming. And I could pick it up yesterday when you were leaving the apartment. So you had changed. Your whole countenance had changed. Something had shifted in you. And I could tell, Uguti, you're gonna tell me that we can't carry on like this anymore. And guess what he said? You know, like all these immature men out here in these streets, when you dump them, be out here either door slamming you or swearing at you or clapping back. This dude was so perfect that he said, for this past 2 weeks that you and I have been together, I've been so happy, Shem. He was like, I've been so happy. I will just hold on to this. I knew that it wasn't gonna last, but I was just so happy. Shame. Poor thing. He was like, for these 2 weeks that we've been together, it's been the happiest, and I wanted to relish this moment. I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to juice it. I wanted to have as much fun as I possibly could have, because something told me that it's not gonna last. Shame. I broke his heart, hey? I was like, my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. But you gotta understand, like, this is something that, you know, we've been together for this long, and because of that, I couldn't just get into a new relationship with you. Yeah. Anyway, before the me breaking up with him, we had a discussion. We kept meeting everywhere, all over the show. And I said once to him that apparently a person will only ever fall in love twice in their lives, right? Some theory that I heard in the pipelines of these streets. Yeah, I was like, apparently, allegedly, a person only falls in love twice in their entire life. That's a conversation that we were having. And he's like, then, like, proper, he was like, I guess I'm screwed then, because this is my final time. That was before he had already told me he loved me. I told you guys that, even though I had not reciprocated. I had not said I love you back or anything of that nature. But when I told him that apparently, allegedly, people can only fall in love twice for real in their entire lifespan, he was like, I guess I'm screwed because this is my last round. Poor thing. But stuff like that, when he would say it, would make me be like, I can't mess with this dude. I'm gonna be here. I'm going to. This is gonna end. This is gonna stick. This is it. This is it. I'm staying. But I didn't blom. I broke a man's heart after telling him that you can only fall in love twice, and he was like, this is my last hit. And I guess we're done for, right? I'm done for because I'm in love with you, and I've been in love before once, and so I guess this is the end for me. Anyway, yeah. This dude was very mature in taking our breakup. I can't even call it a breakup. Were we even together? I don't know. Well, for 2 weeks, okay? Yeah, and he let it go, I guess, from that stage, from that place. Did not try again, because I guess the pain was too extreme, and I never even bothered him again ever since then. But I'm trying to help you understand what happens when a man is slapping you, whatnot. You will thoroughly have the best thing since sliced bread in your life, and you will choose to go to something toxic. You know, Binaya Jasmine Sullivan, she's like, if I could forget him, oh, I would. Please believe me. One of the lyrics says, if I was saved, there'd be no competition, but I'm in love with someone else. Hey. And then along the lines as well, the lyrics say, you treat me so much better than him, and if I was saved, there'd be no competition, but I'm in love with someone else. So you treat me better. In other words, you're a better man. You're a much better man than this other thing that I'm trying to be with, but I can't help it. I'm sorry, no, you can. You can. The addiction to a toxic man is satanic. It is satanic. When a man treats you so much better than another one, and if you were saved, which I am, there'd be no competition. Yeah, indeed. You see, if I was saved, my ex wouldn't have, like, there'd be no competition. If I was a sober woman, if I was saved, I wouldn't have been with that other guy because he was lost, right? He was in the world, but he was much better than my ex. But if I was somewhat like, if I was saved, that other guy that I gave a chance for 2 weeks, there'd be no competition. Like, no one would compete with him. No one. No one would have prospered to take me from that guy's hands. But I wasn't saved. I was out here going back to a situation that didn't make sense, because when you keep on going back to a toxic relationship mode, where you're being fed sense proper, you will say, if I could forget him, I would. Please believe me. I hurt that guy so much. A man that treated me like a queen during the time when we were together for literally 5 seconds. And yet I was out just singing to him, if I could forget my ex, oh, I would. Please believe me. Yeah, you treat me so much better than him. If I was saved, there'd be no competition. But I'm in love with someone else. Hey. Yazzie, toxicity. I had to learn those lessons. All right. Blessed is the woman that man finally married. But the one that the other 2-week guy, blessed is the lady that he finally married. But I personally, as Kurasi Cran K, messed up because I was made to mess up. That is what happens. When you've been held hostage, you will literally pass up. Better men will rock up, and they will want you, and they will pursue you, and they will work to the nail. They will bend over backwards. They will do for you that which the bugger that you keep on going back to never can. Umuntu that will go out of their way to prove to you, Karabo, I got you. Yeah, batum. And you will be made to pass him up. So how this thing works is that either these men treat you like trash, or you leave something that's perfect. It's not broken, it's not bent out of shape. There's nothing whack about it. That's what's good. But you'll be out to going back to a toxic space. Your leg is being cut. Do you understand? With no anesthetic. And that the only cessation of hostilities against your unfortunate leg is you getting back together with somebody. Relationships will either go awry, or they'll go perfectly and you'll still walk out. And you will go back to something toxic. And just like that scene in Temptation, Judith with Harley, these things are being unfolded even in secular media. Why? Because it's literally what's happening to all of y'all who are still in the secular space. You are lost. So Tyler Perry is able to depict what happens to you when you are being lured by a Korobela junkie. Precisely because the issue is that prevalent on earth. It's so prevalent that it becomes a common grain among women of the world. It becomes a common grain. You be out here going back to a man that is going to give you HIV. A man that is horrible in comparison to the one that is happy to treat you well. A man that, you get my point. So you will go, you know how that scene, that terrible scene in Temptation, where Judith is out here crying outside of Harley's house, carrying a bag and everything, looking like a mangeu, while this rich buffoon is sitting in his car acting like, but you shouldn't have done that to me. But you're the one that kicked her out. You kicked her out of your house, bugger, but she's coming to grovel at your feet. It's a form of witchcraft. There's a spell that these guys do that make a woman say to a perfect guy that's going to propose marriage to her in 5 months, if I could forget him, I would. Please believe me, and know that I wouldn't throw the towel in. Yeah, baby, it's not that easy. You treat me so much better than him. If I was saved, there'd be no competition. But I'm in love with someone else. Hey, etc. That cause you to wake up in your middle age on some, what the heck was I doing? Why didn't I, let's say his name was Bongani. Why didn't I stay with Bongani? What the heck was I doing? You will literally look at yourself in a marriage miserable with Tshepang and ask, why did I ditch Bongani? You will look at yourself in a marriage with Tshepang and ask yourself, what was wrong with Bongani? I would have been a young bride. I would have had 7 kids by now with him. We'd be comfortable, happy. I'd have been a wife that is not cheated on, responsibly treated by my husband. I would have been a young bride, taught the ropes by his boys' wives. Like, his boys had wives. They were older women to me, in their 30s too. So they would have taken me under their bosoms, and I would have had friends that would have helped me with my newborn baby, seeing as they would have had kids already that were toddler age or preteen. They would have taught me the ropes. I would have had comfort, peace when my man says I'm going out with my boys. I would not have been uncomfortable. because they're all still out here painting the town red. All of my ex's boys, they were in these streets painting Johannesburg red. And I had a man whose boys were at home on Friday night watching TV, taking care of some kids, and loving a wife. I had a man that had friends like those at just 26. And I was like, and they were married for years. I don't even know how this guy had such older friends, but that's just how it was. And I went with a dude whose boys, one of my ex's boys, thoroughly showed him a nude, y'all. Like, one of my ex's boys showed my boyfriend a nude of his, like a full frontal nude of his girlfriend. Imedi, not a jump off for a side piece, but medi. My ex had a best friend who showed him his main chick's full frontal because the chick decided to send her boyfriend a nude. And then while the nude came, at the time of the nude coming in, he was sitting with my boyfriend and he's like, hey, yeah, he got that nude and showed my boyfriend just how firm his girlfriend's breasts were and how she has barely any stretch marks over her body. My ex was like, boy, why you gonna go show me your girlfriend's body? He's like, I just wanted to show you what I enjoy in these streets. A whole thriving, full in the charting accountant headed for a CA course. A whole academic, umfazi that is respectable in corporate South Africa. Ukhata sitako sa accountant. Busy mara snippers sa bungono. Sibonswa my boyfriend. Those are the friends that my ex had. My ex's friends were busy with that kind of stunt work, showing the nude study meditabona to their boys. And I walked out of a relationship with a guy who had married friends that had kids and everything. You know, like, if I could forget him, I would, please believe me. You will leave a perfectly viable situation to be within Dota Eglise like no man's business. And your decisions will be evidently, clearly irrational. They will be clearly irrational. And yet you will make them. How it's in a relationship. In a relationship. Uzopuma kwi situation clearly honest for you in favor of one that's clearly dishonest to you. You will do just that. Later on, and all different kinds of stuff. And then you go and you check out the nepeta on social media years down the line. Find out, the 2 kids, the woman in his arms now, you covet her, you wish you were her. You passed them up. That's the kind of guilt, or not guilt, sorry, but sorrow that follows abafazi balefati. The sorrow is deep, it's real, and it's alive. And y'all, I'm calling you to redemption. Okay, I'm calling you to repentance. Because if nanikisa puluswa, nkebekele musadi, wa I'm in love, lebari, pampun, I would have married that guy. Kotwa, my ex worked like a dog, hard, do you understand? To try to not work on our relationship. Because he started out alright. At first we started out real cool, taking me places I ain't never been. We started out good, and we started out with him getting his act together. Like, he was listening to me. We were meeting one another halfway. I was a helper suitable. And then somewhere along the way, Amameladi chomita haitza hoba di bari, di baboon, swinging on a chandelier, like Sia. I'm gonna swing on a chandelier, His boys were swinging on chandeliers, and they made my boys swing on a chandelier too. Birds of a feather flock together. Good character, bad company corrupts good character. That's what happened. So, seeing as they were swinging on a chandelier, I didn't stand a chance. Marindota that wants to swing on a chandelier and do what he wants. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drop. 1, 2, 3. Ufunu puzanje. Like inyongo ye occult, like inyongo ye indiscretion. Angazingeni ndabazok do anything differently because abangani bakhe are not even encouraging him differently. You're done for as a woman in that situation. It's only a matter of time. Before Uhlazizwe kitaba or motor has taken you for a ride. These women tend to wake up already since 5, 10, 20 years. And at that stage, you are now always going to be facing the risk of John Legend, cheating, or even Janet Jackson cheating on your husband with the very guy that you passed up, because you are gonna proper make like Janet Jackson in Again. You know that song? I heard from a friend today, and she said you were in town, and suddenly the memories came back to me in my mind. How could I Move on now, daddy, daddy. Time and time again. I said, time and time, I said that I never fall in love with you again. Dun, 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 dun. Here we are alone again. I didn't think it'd come to these. Good intentions, you had many. I know you did. I didn't come so close to happiness to have it snatched away. I'm not gonna have you love me then. Say you love me then leave again. You get my point? Cause I never wanna fall in love with you again. Doom, 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 doom. Hold me, doom, doom, hold me. Say it just one time. Say you love me. Body beady bum beady beady beady. God knows I love you. I don't want to love you again. God knows I don't want to love you again. Making love to you, oh, it feels so good and so right. Maybe I've come too close to happiness to have it snatched away. That again song, it is the stuff of what you might call this thing, of Korobela, like Bring Back Lost Lava. It is bumping into not Korobela Bring Back Lost Lava, but what you call this thing, because of the effects of Korobela that causes you to end up married to a man that does not make sense. Because you will not go anywhere, and you walk down the aisle to the wrong guy. There then inevitably comes a future scenario where your girl will come and be like, girl, I saw Bongani at the mall the other day, he's still looking so good. Bongani Watenge, of which is now a married man with like 2 kids. You're a married woman with 3 kids. And the 2 of y'all were kindred spirits or whatever. You were really there was a time when you were both single, clean slate, everybody. No kids, nothing. And then you passed them up because of some junkie Korobel. Some bring back lost lover, some hold you fast down to the ground nonsense. And you marry that nonsense. And then 10 years later, your girl is like, girl, ngibone ubongani, etliye watermon. And then you be Aja. I heard from a friend today, and she said you were in town. And suddenly, the memories came back to me in my mind. How could I go on? I saw Bongani time and time. I said I would never fall in love with him again. Boom, 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 boom. I've come too close to happiness, and then it got snatched away. Good intentions, Bongani had many. I know he did, but then I went and married with Tepang in these streets. And now I don't know what to do with myself, cause I'm in love with him again. Boom, 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 boom. Next thing you are in a hotel room with Bongani. Hold me, say it just one time, say you love me. But I gotta go back home to Tepang. He made me marry him. Nye begamina pela. You'd be with Bongani, but no, you with Tepang. Onyetse rubbish. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's gonna make you out in these streets have an affair with the dude that you were supposed to marry all along. Like, that is the disquieting thing about what's going on in these streets. And imagine these affairs. Yo, ain't no adulterer gonna enter the kingdom of heaven. And God is not gonna understand that Motanda Ubongani and that Bongani was snatched from underneath your feet because Utsepang Mega Bogiling and Korobel. At the end of the day, you were supposed to give your life to Christ. And the Lord would have spared you. Like, you know, Binaya Jasmine Sullivan. If I was saved, there'd be no competition. But you're in love with Tepang. Aye, for what? Yeah. Oh, but when I'm with him, I can't deal. A chainsaw gonna be out here amputating the living daylights out of you of pain, because that is what is induced in your bones by false love, false lust, false passion, given you by Korobela, given you by Begaminakpela, given you by all of these spells that people use to pin other people down. The pain of not being with them as a result of demons in operation is like a chainsaw amputating your leg. And the only solution out is being with these people. So do you see why it's worth the while to get born again young? Because if you get born again young, like I said, Tepang don't stand a chance against Bongan if you're saved. Look at me. I'm 45, so you don't want to be listening to me because I'm 40, but I'm 40 clean slate. I might as well be 23. These men that are slapping me with Korobela, their medicine is strong, it's poignant. It pulls me to a point where my body will get weak, we get it. The guy in America prospered to even invest feelings in my heart for a season, but he stood no chance in the blazing inferno of the Holy Spirit. He had no chance. So if I was saved, there'd be no competition. Essentially, my salvation makes it such that abahone. Brick walls, ga, brick walls, ga, brick walls. Y'all need to understand. Brick walls. Do you understand? They will korobela you from here to Timbuktu. They will bring back lost lover you from here to Timbuktu. They will beg a minapela you from here to Timbuktu. They will do all that. They will do all that. But it won't work. You might for a season be pulled in by a noose. Onka some smell of the pheromones to this guy. But God will be like, pah, snap you out of it. God will snap you out of it. He snapped me out of the trance that I was in with the dude from MTN to bring me in. He snapped me out of the trance with the guy in America. That happened about 2 years ago. Snapped me out of the trance that I was in my long-term relationship with my ex-boyfriend. I was in it until we broke up, and I could not for the life of me deal because we broke up. And then as soon as I cried out to Jesus, I got snapped out of it. So my redemption snapped me out of an existing Pegaminapela frenzy that I was in, and I was gonna end up married to a man. On some, I heard from a friend today, and she said you were in town. I was gonna cheat on him. Like, it was gonna happen. Like, y'all need to understand. If I did not get born again in the Lord, I was gonna marry that man. It was inevitable. Mara. Nekitlo cheetah. I was gonna ran into Bongane yesterday. Memories rushed through my brain. That's why I used John Legend's song. It's starting to hit me. Now we're not together. I realize I made a mistake. I just let love go to again. I thought that I needed some space, but I just let love go to waste. It's so crystal clear now. I need you here now. I gotta get you back today. This time I want it all. I would have been like John Legend in this instance, because I was the one that told him to back off. I'm the one that go at him. I dumped him. Alright?